Business. So yesterday we had a full day of Women Driven to Succeed, which was amazing. The speakers were epic. And if any of you were unable to catch it live, make sure that you have a look at the replay that's here in the Facebook group, because there's so much incredible content from branding. So how do you figure out what your brand is? How do you get connected with your personal brand? How do you sell? What copy needs to go onto a sales page and where the copy is. And it's really interesting because a conversation from a comment or a question that was in the chat opened up a whole conversation around the different buyer styles, the different selling styles, and how you connect with each one. So it's well worth your while to go and watch the 2 sessions from yesterday. They're in there, so you can go through and figure out who it is that you want to be able to watch. But today, what I want to chat to you about is, how do you move your social media following onto your email list? What is the proven way to do that? An awful lot of people focus their time and attention on social media, which is great because obviously it gives you visibility. It puts you in front of people. You can bring out your personality. People can see your style. People can consume your content. However, social media has a quite low conversion rate for sales. So it's anywhere between 1% and 3% of your engaged social media following. So if you think about it, if you have, for example, 500 people on your social that are following you on social media, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, any of them, the percentage of people that are actually engaged with your content, so as in they see it on a regular basis, they like it, they comment on it, they share it, they save it on a regular basis, is quite low. So you're roughly talking about possibly 10%, if even, of the volume of followers that you have that are engaged. So if you think about it, that's 10%. So if you've got 500 people, 10% of that is 50. And if only 1%, 1 to 3% of them will ever convert into sales, you're knocking them all down. So this is why you want to bring people onto your email list, because your email list has a much higher conversion rate. It's 5% of the people that are on your email list are always ready to buy from you. They're just waiting on you to make the offer that speaks to them, and that they want to be able to work with you or to buy your product or your service or whatever it is that you offer. So you want to be funneling people from social media onto your email list. This is a non-negotiable. We don't have any control, power, leverage over the followers that we have on social media. So if you're spending all of your time just building up your social media following and you're not moving anybody into your email list, what happens when that social media platform goes down? It could go down for a day. We saw this was the last year when Instagram went down. Like, you have zero control over that. And the amount of people that give out about, oh my God, I can't believe Instagram's going down or Facebook's not working. Suck it up. Like, we know this. It's a rented platform. That company is allowing us space to create content on there, and they can take that down at any time. So what happens when all that goes? What happens if like, say, for example, in the morning, Mark Zuckerberg is like, don't want to do Facebook anymore and, have zero interest in any of the rest of them and shuts it all down. What happens then? What are you going to do with everybody that you have had on there if you don't have an email list? This is why it's so important. And I will keep drumming this home for everybody, because your social or your email list is your community. It's where you're going to build relationships with people. It's where you're going to really get to know them. It's where you're sharing so much more value that's connected. It's where you'll see a lot more conversion rates happening. So if right now you just have a social media following and you haven't funneled them into an email list, be smart about it and decide right now, like, make your declaration right now that I'm going to move people onto my email list. So how do you do that? Because this is what trips people up. It doesn't have to be complicated. So don't start freaking out and go, oh my God, I need to get ClickFunnels or I need to get lead pages. You don't. But what you do need is an email marketing system. And there's so many of them out there. I tell all my clients to get MailChimp. I think MailChimp is a wonderful platform when you're starting out. When you get into a longer stage in business, you will need to upgrade, because there's different features that you're going to want that MailChimp don't necessarily have. But to start out with, they're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. But other ones that are out there are MailerLite, Aweber, ActiveCampaign. I use ConvertKit. Like, there's so many of them, and they're fantastic because they have landing pages on them. So for any of you that don't know what a landing page is, it's it's essentially a page. So if you've ever registered for anything for free, so if you've registered for a masterclass, if you've downloaded a workbook, if you joined a challenge, if you have signed up for meditations, the link that you go onto that has a page where you put in your name and your email address, that's a landing page, an opt-in page, a registration page, all the same thing. And essentially what it is you are telling people what they're being invited to, what they're going to get for it, and that in return, for them to get this, they give you their name, their email address, possibly their phone number or their social media handle. You can decide what's on there. And that is what you want to be able to create. But the email marketing campaigns or the email marketing platforms have those landing pages on there, and they're great because they're pre-built templates. So until you get to the stage where you really want to go like super fancy, they are brilliant. So don't discount them. Please don't discount them. I used them at the very, very start of my business for a good 18 months before I moved away, and they worked amazing. My first ever free lead magnet, I got 89 people onto my email. So you definitely want an email marketing system. And like I said, MailChimp is fantastic. I'm not affiliated with them, but MailChimp, it is great. It's a great platform to use. So why wouldn't you use it? But like I said, you can use any of them that you want. So you do want that. But to get people from your social media onto your email, number one, you're going to need a landing page, but you're also going to want to offer people something for free. And to do that, you've got to be very clear on what is the result that you create for people. If people come to work with you, if people come and buy your product, buy your course, your service, what is the result that they are going to get from working with you? Now, obviously you can't guarantee anything for anybody because there's so many factors, but you can demonstrate the results that people get. So if you look at your social media, what is the one thing that you talk about consistently? What is the one thing that people engage with consistently? And if you don't know the answer to that, then start there, right? Figure out what it is. What are the pillars of what you talk about? What are the pillars of what you're connected with? What are the pillars of what you want to be known for? And speak into that consistently. Then in terms of, well, what are people connecting with? If people aren't connecting with anything, that's feedback for you to say that your content isn't resonating with people. It means they're not connecting to it. Your messaging has got to be very bold, very clear, very direct, very not wishy-washy, like no either or. It's very, in order for you to achieve this result, this is what you've got to do. There's no, well, if you do this, or if you're in the mood to do this. No, it's like, this is what you've got to do. So if people are not connecting with your content right now, have a look and see who's looking at your stories, go through the people that are following you and start reaching out to them and get to know them. Like, don't reach out to them with the purpose of a sales call, because we all hate those spammy DMs. Like, they're the most frustrating thing in the world, where somebody doesn't take any time to get to know you. They couldn't care less about you and they're only in it for the sale. Don't be that human. Do not be that human. Be the human that really cares about people, and be really honest with people and say to them, look, I want to carry out some market research so that I can get to know, like, in more detail my client avatar, and I believe that you fit into that. And say to them, this isn't a sales pitch. I would just love if you could answer some questions for me, just so I can get more clear around and refine my messaging, refine my brand. So they're the kind of things that you want to do. Once you have that, you can then create your lead magnet. So your lead magnet is something that you give for free so that people will give you the email address. But you create a lead magnet based on what people want. So for example, for me, I obviously am a business mentor, and I show coaches and holistic therapists how to take on the first 5 clients and beyond. So we put all the foundations and stuff in place. However, if I was to do, here's your business foundations freebie, people are like, I couldn't care less. I don't care. Whereas if I'm like, if I show you how to convert 100% of your sales, I'm not guaranteeing you 100% of your sales, but I'm going to show you what you need to do to convert 100% of your sales. So people are going to want that. If I can show you how to generate 10 sales calls a week, you're going to want to do that. So what is it that people want? I know my audience, so I know what you guys want. What is it that your audience want? What is the result that they want? Like, what is that full-on result that they want? And you create a lead magnet around that to give them steps to do it, to give them tools, to give them techniques to do it. with the whole purpose of being to bring people onto your email list so that you can nurture them, love on them, create that community feel around them. And then you will be able to increase your sales from there. Because like I said, if your social media ever goes down, you're screwed. And I've had a friend of mine, Serena, on a couple of my events before, and I always get her to talk about this. So Serena is a coach too, and she's a coach for coaches. She had this situation in 2021. Pretty sure it was 2021, where she had built up her Instagram following to over 2,000 people. I think it could have been around 2,500. And her Instagram got hacked and she could not access her account. So she lost all of her followers. That's a lot of people to lose. However, Serena had an email list. She had an email list, which meant that she still had people that she could connect with, that she could reach out to, that she, and she could even get it out there to say, look, this is what happens. It was actually a fantastic marketing campaign for her because she was able to share that with her email list. And when she reopened her social media, like her Instagram, she was able to say, this is what happens. Like, you're not guaranteed that you're going to be able to hold on to your social media. So please make sure that you get people onto your email list. It was, there was some beautiful things that came out of that happening. It was crappy when it happened to her, of course, but it's incredible what you can pull out of it. So the moral of this entire story is, if you don't have an email list, you need to get one. Holding it, by the way, on like Yahoo or Gmail or Outlook is not sufficient, because you are responsible for data protection. You are responsible for making sure that you're being complicit with GDPR guidelines. So that's why you want an email marketing system, because they will ensure that that happens, which is exactly what you want. So to make sure that you're protected, because if somebody wants to unsubscribe from you, which we encourage, because if somebody's not for you and they're not for your audience, 100% they want to unsubscribe. And we absolutely let them never see that as a negative, see that as a positive, because you're able to let go of the people that are never going to buy from you and be able to call in the people that are and make room for them. And there's always ands with all of this. And if you are holding those emails on the likes of Gmail or Outlook or Yahoo, people have no way of unsubscribing. They have no way of doing it, which means that you're not being complicit with your obligations as a business owner. So make sure that you're always setting yourself up for success and not making things more difficult than they ever need to be for yourself. Things don't need to be difficult. We make them difficult because we refuse to do things that will actually make our lives easier. Go get yourself an email marketing system, create a lead magnet, and funnel your social media people into it. Now, I know people are going to say, well, how do I funnel my social media people into it? Talk about it. Your call to actions, invite people to it, put it up in your stories. Anybody you're in DM conversations with them, and when the conversation gets to that point, lead into it and go, look, I have a free resource that I think will be of benefit to you. Are you open to me sharing it with you? The worst thing that you can do is force yourself onto people. And we know that in all parts of life. You always want to invite people to be in your space and to not ask permission, but to gracefully and respectfully take up space in other people's lives too, right? You would definitely want to take up space, but you want to do it in a respectful way. Like I said, we all hate those pushy DMs. We all hate those salesy DMs. I hate getting, like, there's nothing frustrating. Like on a weekly basis, I could get anywhere from 5 to 10 emails to tell me that my Instagram is crap. Who is going to want to connect with somebody that's telling you your Instagram is crap to fix it? Absolutely not, right? So don't be that human. Be the decent, loving human. Love on people. And remember, our businesses are there to support people to get them the results that they want and to show them how to do it and show them that exactly what's possible. So always make that at the forefront. Always make that your mission. Always make that the core of your values, and watch your business take off.